I am outside in the natural light because I want you to really see this. I am so excited about the way these turned out. It is hard to tell which is old and which is done today. Except maybe you can see my Tim Holtz Distress ink around the edges. And I don't know, maybe a little more something to this paper. And I did put a little color in her face on the left. Stay tuned and I will show you how I did this. Hey everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. I'm here, I am grabbing some heavy something to work with. So, I'm sure you can see these. I have been going through old photographs again this morning. I'm planning to sell the originals. I have a lot of CDVs, Carte de Visite, it's visits, cards for visiting. They're like calling cards. It's French, I believe, and they were popular in the 1800s. I have some that I believe are as old as the like maybe late 1860s. Because of the dress, it looks very Civil War era. But I think most of them are closer to like 1880s. But they're amazing. And I've just been wanting to get all of them scanned. I'm working on a digital download for the shop that will have a lot of these. And I wanted to see if there is any interest in that. And also to just share a little bit about the process. There's so much I want to do, and it takes a while to create digitals. So it's so important to, I guess, to not share them. I know one time I bought a digital download and someone that I was acquainted with said, "Oh, I wish you hadn't bought it. I would have sent you mine." And I said, well, I wouldn't want to do that. I mean, somebody worked to create it, so I wouldn't feel comfortable just taking, you know, if you purchased a digital, don't send me the files. I want to pay for them. Anyway, I'm not saying that, like, buy my digitals. I just wanted to share part of the process because I think it helps other shop owners to know. For example, I have, you know, a few different versions here, and you go through a process of looking at sizing and deciding if you want to copy the backs of the cards. And if you do want to copy the backs, you have to make sure that the front and back are the same size. And it's also important to get the image, get it close to the size of an actual calling card photo. So it is a process. This is not quite the final, it's almost the final, but I had covered up a little bit of my wording there, the CDV 1 back. So there's 1 and the back for number 1, there's 2. The back for 2 was just nondescript, so I didn't copy that one. There's 3 and the back for 3, Lovejoy. That's so cool. Lovejoy Photographer, and that is from Glen Falls, New York. Then we have CD4, or CDV4, I'm sorry, and the back for 4, and then 5 was another one that it was kind of nondescript. So here we have this whole page of cards. I'm not sure yet how I'm going to sell the originals, if I'm going to put them all as one big lot. I have quite a few of them. Or if I'm going to break them up into sets of like 3 or 4 or 5 and include male and female, or do sets of gentlemen, sets of ladies. But it was important to me to scan this. That's one of the reasons I purchase old things, is to be able to make digital creations. I will quit rambling for now though. I'm going to do this with scissors. And I think, of course, all of my best scissors are probably inside, and I think a lot of my scissors, even though they're supposed to be in one spot all together. Everybody raise your hand if you think they're all in one spot all together. And you would be wrong. I'm missing like 3 pairs right now. So we're going to go with these. These are cool. These are old. I probably should not go with these. but I'm going to do it anyway. The thing is, just try to stay on the line, you know. And we're going to see how this works out. I think I also left my glue in the house. Of course I did. But it doesn't have to be perfect. That's one of the reasons that I'm going to go with what I've got, because, you know, these old photographs are definitely not perfect, which leads me to another point to be made. A lot of times they have blemishes right on the face. You kind of have to use a digital tool to clean up some of the photos. It's a very time-consuming process. Now, I'm not going to actually round the corner. I just cut the tiniest bit off. Maybe I rounded it in a way, but not hugely. Some of these old photographs are rounded and some of them are square. But they've, you know, obviously as old as they are, they do get worn down over time. So a lot of times the corners are a little bit worn. And I just want to see how this turns out. I want to show you what you can do with these. Not everybody has access to old photographs, you know, original. So that's pretty close in size. I got pretty close, and I think it's probably actually very close because I'm seeing some white here that I didn't trim off. But even if you had, okay, so not everybody has access to places where you can buy a lot of photographs like this. And then even if you do, they can be expensive. And then you're going to turn around and use your original photo in artwork. It's really nice to be able to get, let's see how hard this is to cut. That's going to be too hard on my scissors. So here's where my paper trimmer is going to come in. I am going to take the ruler and I'm going to just make a line on this side of the photograph, and of course I did get some ink on the edge, and that's okay. That's okay. Let's turn it this way now. Because I'm right-handed, I'm not having success at gently laying that ruler down on the left-hand side of this thing. Let's see if we can line that up. Keep it flush with the bottom, and then let's just trace right across the top. So let me go cut this out, and I'll be right back. Hopefully I trimmed it close enough. Yeah, I think that's perfect. That's perfect. Even the little lines that I got on the edge of the picture, we're not going to worry about that. Now, here we go with adhesives. Ideally, for this, I think you would want something that doesn't have a lot of water in it. And there's probably too much water in this. I'm going to go ahead and use it because it's what I have right now. There's my brush. And I'm going to put a really, really thin layer of Mod Podge. And I think the most important part is to get that edge. So let's just lay that down. I don't know if you can tell that I put a little bit of color in her face. It's so adorable. I love things like this. So, and she had a lot of spots in her face too that had to be cleaned up. A lot of damage to the actual photograph. So to give you an idea, to put those 5 cards on that page, I worked probably 2 hours, and I could have worked longer. There's always like a little more, and then at some point, you know, you have to determine that it's good enough. Not that you don't want to make it really good for people, but you know, you have to draw the line somewhere and move on. So I'm just like, you know, cutting the edge a little bit. Now to really just tie all this together, and I realize this is green in here, although on some of the old photos you do see different colors. Like, look how dark this image is, and then that's a darker one. This one is so much lighter. Some of them have the most gorgeous pink backs to the cards. Like, you turn it over and that could be a card or a tag all by itself. It's so beautiful. Now, do I want to use, I really need to go get some old photo. I thought about going with the black, and we might put a little bit of black on here, but I'm going to go with the rusty hinge to start with. And look at that. And it's cool when you get just a tiny bit on the photo itself. So this is like a little cabinet card. It's a calling card, a reproduction of an image from the 1800s, and you don't have to go out and buy an expensive set of cards. You don't have to, you know, run all over creation. You know, obviously it helps artists when you buy the digitals. Again, I'm not saying go out and buy these, but I did want to show you just what you can achieve for your journals. Like, I got a little ink on the front of that. And I can be a little on the messy side. Everybody knows that. It's part of it is my nature perhaps, but a lot of it is choice. I do like grunge, and I realize that even when I touch something, you know, I just looked, there can be ink on my fingers, and I think, oh, well, we're just going to see where that goes. Now, if I want something not to have it on there, I can purposefully be careful and say, you know, I don't want anything on the front of that. And you all have seen me make art in that fashion as well. I love the way this turned out. I'm hoping over the next few hours to have a really large set of these that can be downloaded from Etsy. I just love this so much. I bet you could do even more to this, you know? You could, my mind is just kind of racing now. You could just keep layering things on. I know I have, all right. I've got a whole box of little bits and bobs here. See if you had like little tiny flowers. Oh my goodness. Oh, like, look at that. That's so pretty. See, you could glue tiny little embellishments at the bottom of that. Sandra, there's a kitty cat. Okay. Oh, look at that. So I'm going to stop. I got to go back in and get back on these digitals. And, you know, you could even, there's so much you could do if you fussy cut just her out and put a butterfly die cut behind her. That would be amazing on a page. So more to come. I'm going to finish this set up hopefully today. I really need to sell some listings. You know, since this is my full-time job now, I got to make it work. I got to make it pay the bills, because they don't stop, as we all know. So I'm going to get back to it. Thank you for watching, and I will be back really soon with some packs that I've put together. Bye for now.